Could Aaron Rodgers be headed to Seattle? Coming up on this edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports, we will talk about the possibility, as suggested by one major NFL news outlet. We'll dive into that possibility. I'll share my thoughts and more coming up in just a bit. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we do that, folks, we are closing in on 63,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Today. We're less than 150 away from reaching that next milestone. For daily news and rumors, live shows not just once but twice a week now on Mondays and Wednesdays. Breaking news, Q&A mailbags. We're talking draft, trades, free agency, and more. It's all right here on your offseason headquarters for all things Seattle Seahawks. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV, and we'll get started with today's show. The Sporting News has named the Seahawks as a top destination for Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers. And this all comes on the heels of a new report from Fox Sports' Jay Glazer on Super Bowl Sunday that the Jets are likely to move on from Aaron Rodgers. More on that coming up in just a bit. Let's start with what the Sporting News had to say of why Seattle. The Seahawks need to decide if Geno Smith can be the right fit for the new offense under Clint Kubiak. There's no doubt Rodgers would thrive in that version of the West Coast offense with some talented wide receivers, including Jackson Smith-Njigba and DK Metcalf. Don't sleep on the Seahawks taking a shot on an older potential QB upgrade with the hope that Rodgers can push them to a higher offensive ceiling. Now, let me stop there for a moment. They literally said there's no doubt that Rodgers would thrive. There's plenty of doubt. He's turning 42 years old next season, for crying out loud. He struggled to stay healthy. His play has declined. He's been a major diva. I mean, yes, I understand that offensive system might be to his liking, but how much more does Rodgers have left in the tank? I have plenty of doubt. I'm going to have to disagree on that. Now, how did we get to this point where Rodgers is a possibility for Seattle? Jay Glazer of Fox Sports put this out on Sunday, saying the following. Big scoopage. Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey last week to meet with the Jets about his future with the team, only to be told that the team was moving on from him. That means that he will be a June 1 designation that allows him to sign with any team in the league on March 12th if he decides to continue to play. Given that Aaron made the effort to fly back to discuss his future, all signs point to him continuing to play. It just won't be for the Jets. Now, here's the way I look at it. The New York Jets, they are a dumpster fire, right? They have the longest playoff drought of any team in the National Football League. They have been absolutely terrible. If the New York Jets, who know Aaron Rodgers as well as anybody at this point in time, if they are saying, Aaron, you're not good enough for us, then why on earth should the 10-win Seattle Seahawks say to themselves, yeah, Aaron, that's the missing piece. That's the guy we need. Now, I'm not sitting here saying by any stretch of the imagination that Geno Smith is better than Aaron Rodgers. Don't take that for anything there. But what I am saying is that Geno, in all likelihood, would be much cheaper than Aaron Rodgers. And I don't have to deal with the drama that comes with Aaron Rodgers. And Geno is more likely to be healthy than Aaron Rodgers as well. So this doesn't sound as great as advertised. This, folks, is like dating Jessica Alba at this point in her life. Jessica Alba in her prime was fantastic, as good as it gets when she was in her 20s and her early 30s. But now Jessica Alba is divorced. She's got a few kids. She's not the same Jessica Alba she once was. Aaron, he's had a Hall of Fame career, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. But 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers just doesn't do it for me. Should the Seahawks bring in Aaron Rodgers? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Weigh in our pinned comment today and let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Tushy. Me in January, I'm going to eat more veggies and hike more. Me in February. I just want my asshole to stop burning when I go to the bathroom. Tushy bidet cleans up after all my BS. And I got to tell you, I really like Tushy. That feeling that water just gives your ass, I mean, it makes you so clean. You're not going to want to miss out the full-on Tushy experience, folks. Tushy is the modern bidet attachment that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and butt health for life. Instead of wiping yourself raw with toilet paper, Tushy gently removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient, fresh water. Tushy has two new ultra-sleek bidet seats, Wave and Oasis, with front and rear wash to clean all those hard-to-reach places. The Tushy Wave and Oasis bidets easily attach to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing or electricity. They even have a quick release button to remove the seat for instant deep cleaning. There's still time to get your ass right for life. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code CHAT. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Tushy, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks today. Glad to have him on board here on today's show. Now, back to Rodgers. Simply put, Rodgers is not his old self. He is not the same quarterback that he once was. Now, I'll sit here and I will defend Rodgers to an extent. The season that he had this year was not nearly as bad as advertised. All right? Yes, the Jets were a mess and had all sorts of drama, and Aaron was part of the problem there with that Jets team. But you look at his passing numbers, they were pretty comparable to Josh Allen, who was the MVP this season. With that said, he is older. He's going to turn 42 this upcoming season. He's very injury-prone. We saw what happened not this past season, but the year prior, when on the fourth play from scrimmage, he had a season-ending Achilles injury. And this year, he didn't look like the same player that he was before the Achilles injury. I know it wasn't too long ago that he was winning MVPs and looking like the best quarterback in the league, but those days are done for. He is not going to return to old glory of what he was just even a few years ago. I would expect that Rodgers is going to be a post-June 1 cut. But as Glazer mentions, there is the likelihood that they would designate it as a post-June 1 cut, but then him still be released, technically speaking, in February or March, available for any team to sign when free agency begins on that front. You can't argue with the resume for Aaron Rodgers. He has had a fantastic career, a four-time NFL MVP, a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, NFL 2010s All-Decade Team, 10-time Pro Bowler, four-time first-team All-Pro. He would, without question, have the best resume of any quarterback to ever be under center for the Seattle Seahawks. No question about it. Nobody is doubting what Rodgers has done in the past, but this isn't about the past. This is about the future. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers has much of a future in this league anymore. You look at these statistics, and you can see last year wasn't that bad. 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a 63% completion percentage, close to 4,000 yards passing. But even with all that said, look at all the weapons that he had with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. And even though his numbers were okay, they still didn't have the results to show for it, and he got a head coach fired in the process as well. Now, how could it happen? What is the potential scenario where Aaron could end up in Seattle? Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, if the Seahawks and Geno Smith cannot agree to terms on an extension, which they haven't done so yet, we told you on yesterday's program that the expectation is that Seattle and Geno will get a deal done before free agency begins, but Geno's been wanting a contract extension since before the season started this year. So We'll see it when it actually happens. But if something falls through, and that very well could happen, then Aaron Rodgers could potentially be your second option. If you can't bring Geno back, if it doesn't work out, then maybe there's a door open for Aaron Rodgers because you pick 18th overall. There's not going to be any first-round talent quarterbacks available. I only have 2 first-round grades on quarterbacks in this draft. That's Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. They're both going to be gone at 18. Then maybe you bring in Aaron Rodgers because things didn't work out with Geno. If you can't get a deal done, can't agree to terms, if he wants too high of an asking price of what Seattle's willing to pay, then maybe you bring in Aaron. But that's about the only situation where I see that playing out. No disrespect to Geno Smith and to Aaron Rodgers, but the bottom line is this, all right? When we think about the quarterback position for this Hawks team long term, we can't keep thinking about the journeyman quarterbacks like Geno Smith, like Aaron Rodgers, these aging veterans. Even if you get a deal done with Geno Smith like we expect, none of us are sitting here saying that Geno's going to be here longer than 3 years by any stretch of the imagination. It might just be another year or 2 potentially. And Aaron Rodgers at 42 years of age, you'd be hoping to get 1, maybe 2 years. When we're talking about the quarterback position long-term for Seattle, the goal should be to get the franchise young quarterback. All right? That should be what Seattle's trying to do. That's where they should be aiming towards. It shouldn't be about Aaron Rodgers. It's not Geno long-term. It's about finding that young franchise quarterback. It's likely not going to be this year, but that should be the goal for how they address this quarterback position of finding the next answer after Geno Smith. If you had to pick a quarterback right now, who would you rather have? Would you rather go with Geno Smith or would you rather go with Aaron Rodgers? Type GS for Geno Smith. Type AR for Aaron Rodgers. Way in the comments section, let us know. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings on your favorite team each and every day throughout the entire offseason. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.